Hello, everyone. My name is Don, the movie reviewer, and today we're going to be talking about It Comes at Night.
If you're lying to me, I will kill you.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
It Comes at Night is about a family that desperately tries to survive the horrors that are at their front door. Unbeknown to them, there is another family that is trying to do the same thing. These two families come together during a particular time where all they have is each other. Joel Edgerton plays the character of Paul. Paul is a devoted father who would do anything to protect his family. Paul has a son, and his son's name is Travis. Travis is heavy-hearted, going about his life with everything around him falling apart. Paul also has a wife, and her name is Sarah. Sarah is the one who keeps the family together during this particular period of time where nothing around them is what it seems. I like this movie for the most part. I thought the symbolism in this movie was very interesting. There is a use of the color red that is depicted throughout this movie, and I'm aware of what the color represents and what it means, but as far as the movie goes with using it, I wasn't quite sure what the objective was. Red represents danger, and I noticed that throughout the film where the characters would be by the red door, that's when bad things would happen. And so I understood what they were going for as far as like with the red door and another piece of red imagery that they used in the film. I got it, and I felt like it was used effectively. But there was just something that I didn't understand, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it at that time. I feel like this movie showcases how desperate people can become during harsh times. It's like you think you're a good person, but when your back's against the wall and something horrible happens to you, you have no idea the extent of things that the human being is capable of. There are many good things in this movie, like the suspense is great, there's an enormous amount of tension throughout this thing. You don't know what's coming around the corner. Like, it's amazing. And then also on top of that, this movie is like really sad, man. Like, there aren't many feel-good moments in this thing. There's a couple sprinkled throughout, but ultimately this movie is kind of depressing. The one gripe that I have with this movie is that nothing is really explained. Now, I can accept that as long as the narrative is expressed well, and in this case it is. But I still feel like on the broader scope of things, the essence of the situation that these characters are in is trivial. Joel Edgerton. I don't have much to say about him in this movie except that he was good as the character of Paul. But I feel like the movie didn't put enough emphasis on the relationship he had with his son. Like, I wanted to know what kind of man was he beforehand. There really isn't any kind of dynamic relationship building between him and his son, and so I just thought it would have been interesting to show the before and aftermath to really add value and significance to their relationship. Calvin Harrison Jr. plays the character of Travis, and this is really his movie because all the scenes with him are great. Like, when he's sad, you feel his pain. And a lot of the things that he had to go through was horrific. With the expressions on his face, he was able to convey the emotion of a boy that was tearing himself apart from the inside. Carmen plays Sarah, and honestly, I feel like she doesn't do anything of great importance here except being the support, maybe the voice of reason, sometimes. The other family that's here, they're good, effective, shows the dynamics between human beings doing good and bad things. I wanted to love this movie. I seriously really wanted to love this movie because there are so many good things in it. Like the use of symbolism is handled very well, even though it leaves me a little confused. And then, like, the tension in this thing was handled beautifully, it was effective, and the musical score certainly catered to that. And then also, the depressing nature of this movie was what really drives it home because it's like when you put your mind inside Travis's and you just see that his world is full of sadness, loneliness, dread, and loss. I seriously wanted to cry because I felt so bad for this kid because what he was going through, it's just like, how can someone bear all of that? Like, he was taking on so much. With all that being said, this movie does have problems. Like, there isn't any significance on the broader scope of things, and maybe that's not really important because that's not the point of the movie. But still, I think it would have been good to show the audience what life was like beforehand, because I feel like the relationship between Paul and Travis could have been flushed out way more. Because I feel that there aren't any real layers to these characters as a whole, like all together. And I just think that it would have been good to have at least one scene where they mention, hey, I know what happened was bad, but we're here now. Something like that, to where they can just mention what the situation is, the broader scope of things, in passing. I don't know. The story was effective with seeing what Travis was going through and seeing the human nature of people. But as a whole, the narrative just felt kind of flat. I give It Comes at Night a B plus. I give it a B plus because it was goodish. There are lots of good things that are present in this movie. The acting was great on all fronts. I just feel like this movie should have built on the relationships more and at least established the significance of the greater situation that was at hand. So as always, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.